Good morning. Is my mic on? Yeah, okay. I can't hear from this side. I'm Barbara Allen. I'm president of the Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she and her. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to our church. Our words of welcome are from the UUA website. We gather here to worship, our hearts alive with hope that here we will be truly seen, that here we will be welcomed into the garden of our community, where the simple and the elegant, the fluted and the frilled, the shy and the dramatic complement one another and are treasured. May we know that here, each contributes in their own way to the beauty of the whole. Come, let us worship together, all genders, sexualities, politics, clappers and non-clappers, progressive or conservative. May we root ourselves in the value of this faith, compassion and courage, transcendence, justice, and transformation. I'd also like to take a special moment to welcome any guests or folks that are new to our church here. I want to thank you for taking a chance and taking time to walk through our doors today and join us in our worship. I have a few announcements. The Men's Fellowship is meeting for lunch today at Now on the Nine Thai Cafe, which they say is located 2 doors down from Red Moon, wherever that is. Nearby. There you go, Greg. The gathering will take place following the coffee hour, which the coffee hour is held after the service. If you have any questions or need directions, please ask Greg or Frank, and they'll help you out. Vicki Vining, Vicki, is going to have a meeting right here, like 10 or 15 minutes after the service, so you all can get your coffee to help plan our upcoming Labor Day picnic. So, woohoo! My third announcement is that Sunday, August 21st, which is 3 Sundays from now, only 3 more, Reverend Rick Hoyt McDaniels will be here. The board, yay, Rick, right? And for our worship service committee, only 3 weeks. The board is hosting a welcoming brunch. It'll be outside for as many of you Zoomers who can come and feel safe, because we are having it outside. I want to remind everybody that that's happening on the 21st. The board is hosting it. I've seen some notes on menus, so it's looking pretty good. And then my final announcement is that somebody this week asked me if the board is talking about closing down services because COVID numbers are going up. Well, the answer, anyway, doesn't matter. The answer is no, we're not talking about that. That isn't even part of our conversation. But yeah, they're coming down. Right, I know. I just wanted everybody to know don't worry, we're not talking about shutting the place down, because some folks were worried about that. So no. The board does talk about everybody wearing masks and making it really safe here, both here and in the narthex after the service. So this is just a friendly reminder about wearing masks, and keep them on until you get outside for your cookies and coffee. Thank you.
So mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain was yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were a tender and callow fellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow, 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 follow. Try to remember when life was so tender that no one wept except the willow. Try to remember when life was so tender that dreams were kept beside your pillow. Try to remember when life was so tender that love was an ember about to billow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow, 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 follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember, although you know the snow will follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember, without a hurt, the heart is hollow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember the fire of September that made us mellow. Deep in December, our hearts should remember and follow, 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 follow.
Thank you. I would classify over it. Oh, well. That one's not happy. Thank you. I don't know how those things work, but this I know how it works, eventually. Blessed for the Beginning by Karl Kopnick. The things to do have been done, well, for the most part. The people we need are in place, almost. We are ready, or as ready as we will be. Bless this most perfectly imperfect beginning. May we find the right people to do the right things as we go. May we discover that what we needed was right here all along. And may we remember to stop and marvel at the magic of each moment as it floats by.
The Santa Monica History Museum is honored to help tell the story of the Tongva, the indigenous inhabitants of Santa Monica. Also known as the Gabrielino or the Gabrieleño, the Tongva were one of California's richest and most culturally sophisticated pre-contact societies. The Tongva have lived in the Los Angeles area for about 7,000 years. Tongva territory was similar to the footprint of Los Angeles. The northern border was shared with the Chumash in Malibu. Coverage extended south to the Newport Beach area, east into the San Gabriel Mountains, and west to include local islands such as Santa Catalina. The vibrant hunter-gatherer culture of pre-contact Tongva included arts, religion, an organized society, and a wealthy trading economy. Though Tongva life was irreparably harmed by the violent displacement of their villages, today the Tongva community has resurrected many of their ancestral traditions. The Los Angeles basin was populated with about 100 Tongva villages. This painting by Mary Thompson is the closest representation that we have to a typical pre-contact Tongva village. Tongva families lived together in dome-shaped structures. Houses were often large enough for extended families to live together. Tule, a water reed, was integral to the Tongva way of life. Thick woven mats of tule were used to insulate homes. Tule was also used to make everyday objects and even toys such as dolls. The name Tongva means people of the earth. The Tongva had a reciprocal relationship with the local ecology, acting as stewards of the land. They avoided overuse of natural resources, instead fostering healthy regeneration. Staple foods included acorns, nuts, seeds, vegetables, and fruit, as well as deer and fish. Instead of making pottery, the Tongva used a rock called steatite, or soapstone. This unique rock was mined on Pimu, the Tongva name for Catalina Island. It has an oily, soapy texture and is light and easy to carve. Soapstone's durability and heat resistance made for excellent cooking implements. The Tongva had a wealthy trading economy. The Tongva villages near Santa Monica traded with other communities that lived farther from the ocean. Items used in trade included soapstone bowls, shells, dried fish, and animal skins. The Tongva were known as skilled boat builders, specializing in a plank canoe called a tiat. Sticky tar from a local source, what we know today as the La Brea tar pits, was used to fill gaps between the planks, thus making the tiat watertight. Elements of the Tongva language survive in Los Angeles place and street names such as Topanga and Cahuenga. Mumatahiko Way, a short street in Santa Monica, is named for a Tongva phrase. Mumatahiko means breath of the ocean and was used in a Tongva song for launching tiat canoes. Murals throughout Los Angeles feature an indigenous woman named Toiparina. Toiparina was a Tongva shaman, linguist, and educator. She was angered by the abuse of her people and destruction of their culture by the Spanish missionaries and soldiers. She planned an attack on the mission San Gabriel. The plot was discovered before it could be carried out, and Toiparina was arrested. Toiparina is embraced by the indigenous community and contemporary Angelinos as an inspiring figure of strength. Curravanga Springs, a Tongva settlement on the west side, is located on the campus of University High School. It is cared for by members of the Tongva community and is used for Tongva celebrations. One such event is the annual observance of Indigenous Peoples Day, which is open to the public. We look forward to seeing you at the Santa Monica History Museum, where our old Santa Monica room highlights Santa Monica's Tongva roots.
Good morning. I'm Terry Hassman-Paulin, and I am the chair of the worship committee. Today, we find ourselves in the middle of summer, and as Barbara mentioned earlier, 3 weeks away from welcoming our new interim minister, Reverend Rick Hoyt McDaniels. He'll be joining us on August the 21st. This seems like a good time to look back to days gone by before we move on to new experiences and adventures. Steffi Prather is providing us with just such an opportunity, and she has already given us some memories of her beautiful harp playing. So, this morning, I invite you to put on your traveler shoes and do a little time traveling back to the 1970s and 1980s. I feel confident that you'll enjoy the trip.
Terry, you took my paper that has Please join me in our words of covenant, followed by our doxology. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus to be covenant.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh. you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. You'll always have my shoulder when you cry. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. You know you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh. You can count on me 'cause I can count on you.
Gifts of your spirit, gifts of your hands, and gifts of your financial generosity, all symbols of our dedication to Unitarian Universalism and this church, and with gratitude for the abundance that fills our lives. Let us contribute now to the financial well-being of this religious home. You can donate by directing your cell phone camera to the QR code, up there I think, or it's also posted on the pillar over there. Or you can donate online. There's a link in the upper right-hand corner of the landing page on our church's website. Or you can send a check via snail mail. Thank you for your generosity.
Good morning. My name is Yahari Nelson Raiden. I'll be doing the joy and the sorrows today. Because we are a community and care about one another, we like to share the events of our lives, both the joyous one and the sad ones. If you are at home and would like to share something with us, we invite you to come forward and drop a stone in our community bowl. Gail Netzler will be reading them from Zoom today. Shared, it is lessened. When a joy is shared, it is multiplied in that spirit. I have some joys and sorrow to read today. The first one comes from Jean Pauline and Terry Hasman. We are delighted to report that Comel, Jean's daughter, is returning home to Corona 45 days after receiving a double lung transplant. Amazing. The other one is coming from our Reed Swanson. Wishing my wife, Jane, a very happy birthday. And before I do Aviva, I'm going to add something of my own. I didn't write anything, but I want you to send the vibes to my daughter. She inherited the gene of her mom. BRCA1. She gave me 2 wonderful grandchildren. Anyway, I'm happy this is being proactive. She's going to have 2 ovaries removed and the fallopian tubes. August 2nd. Join me to send her good vibes. Anyway, Aviva Heston has a joy. It's about, please slide. Supposed to see the slide here. She's so happy because Zoe's cactus bloomed last night. A beautiful reminder of our friendship. Now, Gail, if you can read the comments from the Zoom.
Thank you. I can do so. Dorothy Balasag has a joy. We had a lovely dinner on the coast of Oregon with former UUCSC members Tracy Martinson and Vanessa Bathfield on Friday. Also, we wish our grandson Henry, who turned 18 this week, and our daughter, whose birthday is today, happy birthdays to them. And joy from myself. I always enjoy the many talents of everyone who participates in our services, and that brings a joy to me just watching you and enjoying each of your unique contributions. Thank you. Wishing you all the best with that BRCA2 healing, and we know only too well from others what it means, so wish your daughter well. Thank you.
We end by honoring all the joys and sorrow kept in the silence of our hearts. May we all be warmed in the embrace of our community. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker, Steffi Prather. Steffi is well known here at UUCSC. In case you haven't met her, here are some brief biographical bits of information. Steffi is a native Californian growing up in LA. She went to Hollywood High School and then USC. She worked as a teacher for the LA public schools and was a professional harpist. Steffi has 2 daughters, Jennifer and Ashley, and 2 grandchildren. Sarah lives in Manhattan and Nicholas lives in Madrid. Steffi sang in the choir and has been on the board, and she now helps and oversees the coffee hour and ensures that we always have flowers on our altar. And now you'll hear the rest of the story.
Thank you, Terry. I've been up here before, but I always get a little nervous. The Buddhists, thank you, Greg. The Buddhists tell us the way to freedom and enlightenment is to live in the moment. But today will be different. I'll be talking about the past. The pandemic reminded us that life is short. I thought I'd better share my thoughts now. None of us know how much time we have. Some of my background. I became a Unitarian because of an experience when I was 10 years old. You've heard of the Hollywood blacklisted writers. My father was a writer's agent. He took me to a rally at First Unitarian Church. He was notorious. There I heard the famous Reverend Stephen Fritchman, who was notorious for having twice refused to answer the House Un-American Activities Committee, risking prison rather than answer if he was a communist. My father explained to me that the First Unitarian Church was the only church in the city that would allow the Hollywood blacklisted people to meet. So when it was time for me to pick a church, I naturally wanted to be a Unitarian. I joined Studio City in 1969. It was a special time. Helen Schreiber, my dear friend, remembers it as a vibrant time. Gil Shore remembers it as a joyous time. Bonnie Bray and some of our crowd refer to those years as the Camelot years. The Camelot years. We were a large, prosperous congregation. Our ministers were strong leaders, warm, entertaining, and involved. Reverend Dennis Kuby celebrated the first Earth Day here at our church in 1970 by burying a car engine in our front yard. I don't have to tell you, we got lots of press. John Dober gave brilliant sermons and made us laugh. Many of you have shared with me that you joined the church because of John. A little bit about our music. I was trained as a harpist, but was painfully shy about performing in public. Kirk, who was then just a friend, invited me to accompany him. He wanted to sing Danny Boy on St. Patrick's Day. I played for Kirk, overcame my stage fright, and went on to have a career playing at weddings and parties. In a way, I owe my success as a harpist to this church. I can't tell you how many Christmas Eve services began with my prelude. That was a joy. Kirk started an opera cafe. It was a sold-out affair. Every year, we had a 3-course dinner. Many congregation members performed, and I remember Elizabeth Clark singing one of the most difficult arias in opera, Mozart's Queen of the Night. Kirk also invited his friends from the Master Chorale, and one opera cafe, a black gentleman who sang bass, closed out one of our evenings with Old Man River. It brought down the house. So maybe some of you remember. By contrast, the choir was small and loosely organized. We practiced in the choir loft upstairs, that little room. We were not yet the mighty choir. We giggled more than we sang. Herb Diamond and his partner, Ski, were a gay couple, members of the church. We got to rehearsal early to hear their jokes. I still see Herb, and when I asked him what he remembered about the church, he told me he remembers a time when the choir went to see the porno film Deep Throat. I haven't been able to corroborate that story, but you get the idea. We chuckled over the fact that Herb and Ski had been together longer than many of the heterosexual couples in the church. You who know Herb will appreciate this story. I played at one of their parties. Being gay, all of their friends were men. All of their guests were men. I happened to wear an off-the-shoulder dress that day, and Herb let me know that it was wasted. He stood at the front door and smiled at me and had me play a glissando on the harp every time he opened the front door. During the holidays, we often had 3 or 4 parties, the Trews, the Pitlucks, and the Mills.
Do you want to tell them to go forward with some of the slides?
No slides now, after. We have some pictures.
Sorry. It hasn't changed yet.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's okay, Viva, thank you. Holidays, 3 or 4 parties. On Christmas Eve, we celebrated with snacks and hot cider. We had lots of fundraisers, large and small, auctions and bake sales, all involving fabulous food. We even had a wine club. Judy Leslie remembers potlucks kicking off the pledge drives. We had 2 formal teas. Lindsay sang and I played the harp, and Jeannie Mills organized a fashion show. We had a lot of fun. We worked hard. And my daughter Jenny said, "Mom, this isn't a church. It's a clubhouse." When I was a new member, I was invited by some of the ladies to cook in the old kitchen. I remember a green linoleum floor and an ancient stove. It was a cold Saturday morning, but the atmosphere was warm and cozy. We made moussaka and took it downtown to the San Antonio winery. I was so flattered to be included. I thought I had never met such wonderful women. Mary Ann Jones, Carmen Friedman, Jean Hill, Virginia Fellows, and Blanche Wentworth. I remember a wonderful feeling of belonging. You've heard about our gourmet dinners, groups of 8, a mix of new and old members. We told stories about ourselves, and after spending hours on a Saturday night together, we got to know each other. This was before takeout, and we enjoyed setting the table and fussing over a meal. Those who didn't want to participate formed an underground gourmet club, discovering new neighborhood hangouts. Many of you listening hosted specialty dinners. Dorothy and Russ, Laurel and Ken, I remember being at your houses. Here I have to talk about Donna Mae. Besides setting the standard for our dinners, Donna Mae invented an algorithm for rotating us in and out of each other's houses. We never sat with the same people twice. I have Stan's permission to tell the following story. We all thought Donna Mae was perfect. Her house at Christmas time was a showplace. Whoops. Whoops, I got a page wrong here, excuse me. Whoops. Let's see. I'm sorry, I gotta go get a page. I need 4 and 5.
There's 5.
5, where's 4?
There's 4.
4,
That's 4. Then this is 5. And so then it goes here. That's
oh, okay, all right, I guess, thank you, Aviva. All right, talking about Donna Mae, I have Stan's permission to tell this story. We all thought Donna Mae was perfect. Her house was a showplace at Christmas. I'm still lost here.
On number 5, about 5 lines down.
Nope. She knew how to plan, thank you, Aviva. She knew how to plan everything. She planned the Sunday school, so when it came time for Donna Mae to take a new husband, she picked a man with the same name as her first husband, from Stan Pierce to Stan Pitluck, with the same initials. Those of us who were her friends chuckled that she didn't have to change the monogram on her towels or her stationery. I also began the gourmet dinners with one husband and ended up with another. But that's a story for another day. I hope I've given you some flavor of the past. The Buddhists tell us to choose a path with heart. I'm glad my path led me here. Soren Kierkegaard said, "Life can only be understood backwards, but must be lived forwards." I look forward to the next 50 years. Okay, we have some slides. Did we miss one at the beginning, guys? Back one. Okay. I mentioned Helen Schreiber. The young man on the left is Matthew Schreiber, who tunes the piano at our church. A lot of you know Matthew. And this is Kirk's barbershop quartet, and that's Kirk. These are our daughters. The 2 girls on the end are Kirk's daughters. The first one is Kirsten, who has sung here. The last one is Juliana. My girls are in the center. The dark hair is Ashley, and the blonde is Jennifer. These are my two husbands. I joined the church with Richard Healy in 1969. And there's our lovely Marianne Jones with us. We have a group that gets together for lunches. This was a luncheon that Dorothy Balasag arranged down at the beach. So you recognize all of these people, our wonderful Jeannie Mills, Sue, Judy, Dorothy, and Donna Mae. Another luncheon. Blanche Wentworth is in the foreground. Judy, me, Dorothy. That is Helen Schreiber, Donna Mae, Sue, Ellen Anderson, and Jeannie Mills. At my house, I don't remember the occasion, but we have Helen Schreiber and Marianne, myself, Virginia Fellows, Donna Mae, and my oldest daughter, Jennifer. Don and Janet Dolan, our dear old members. Donna Mae and Stan when they were young, and John Dober, who was minister here from 1969 to 1991. Jeannie Mills, and Helen Schreiber and her husband, Marty. Helen is still with us. She's 93 and lives in Carlsbad. She walks 3 miles every day. This is Babu Shankar. This is Lisa Waters and our Lindsay, before she was a blonde. This was a group. I don't see a Christmas tree. I don't remember what this was, but you guys can look and see. This is Derek True in the corner here. His wife Bonnie's there. The Helenthals. We have some of these pictures out in the narthex for you to look at after the service.
In the center is Gail Shore.
Yeah.
John Dolan.
Yep. Linda White is third on the right, third from the top.
In that elegant dress.
Yeah.
Paulette.
Yeah. Next slide, please. Again, here's a group, and here we have Bill Cosby with the red hair. In the center was our choir director for many years, built up the choir. Blanche is in the foreground, and you recognize, and Janet, Dolan, Bonnie, Derek True, our old crowd. And I think this one's also out in the narthex for you to look at. Here's Herb. Herb Diamond is down there in the corner. I see Joe when he was young. Peggy, the Helenthals. Next slide, please. Oh, this is Kirk when he was young, singing here. Yep. He was pretty handsome, still is. This is the way the church used to look. Kirk is actually responsible for the background. They wanted something against the wall, and of course there was no money. So Kirk had an architect use baseboards. Those are baseboards that are turned vertical and stained. And this is, I think, the last slide. Here's Ricky Hoyt. I understand he doesn't like to be called Ricky anymore, but I've known him for a long time. To me, he'll always be Ricky. Ricky Hoyt will be our interim minister for the next couple of years, and we're really looking forward to having him. Okay, thank you. I think now we have one of my favorite anthems.
Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the word.
Okay, hello everyone. Wow, what a heck of an evening this has been. I couldn't be more pleased. Almost all of you know me by now. You've seen the back of me. Now you get to see the front of me. John Bergquist. I am the music director and technical director. I've had the pleasure of being the man behind the curtain this evening. And my goodness, I'm so pleased. Yes, my face. This is my face. Applause for the face. Well, my friends, I'm so pleased that this evening has come to a successful conclusion. Almost. We've got one more for you before we wrap it up. But I tell you what, it takes a village. It takes a village to put on cabaret. This is the first time I've done it. I've had so much support, and I have a few people to thank, if you will indulge me. I've got a photo here so that I don't leave anyone out. But first on the MCs, of course, yes.
Last 2 days have been wonderful, and
curiosity, committed our energies, and given ourselves over to lives of balance, purpose, and meaning, let us begin again in love. Thank you.
My friend, we'll travel for miles in our Saturday smiles, but we will remember, and then we'll move on. Long after Saturday's gone, come Saturday morning, I'm going away with my friend. The Saturday laugh more than half of the day. Just I and my friend, dressed up in our rings and our Saturday things. And then we'll move on, but we will remember long after Saturday's gone. Come Saturday morning.
Beautiful.
We extinguish the chalice here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again.